Welcome back. President Nangolo Mbumba's arrival in New York marks an important moment for Namibia as the country steps up as a co-facilitator alongside Germany for the Summit of the Future. Taking place on September 22nd to 23rd, the summit runs parallel to the 79th session of the UN General Assembly, where world leaders will engage in high-level talks to address global challenges and work towards rebuilding trust in multilateral systems. The summit is a key opportunity for leaders to push for a stronger international consensus, particularly in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals. President Mbumba will participate in several important meetings, including one with Secretary-General António Guterres, which highlights Namibia's active role in promoting international cooperation. Joining us to discuss this further is Dr. Alfredo Hengari, Press Secretary to the President. Dr. Hengari, good evening and welcome to the Daily Roundup.
Good day, Nina. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be with you and your viewers.
Well, Doctor, as I mentioned, and I think as maybe a lot of Namibians know by now, Namibia is co-facilitating the summit with Germany. Talk to us about how this position reflects on the country's commitment to global governance as well as international cooperation.
Yes, indeed, Namibia co-facilitating the Summit of the Future is indeed a pivotal moment for the diplomacy of our country. You recall that towards the late 1990s, Namibia also played an important role in crafting what was then known as the Millennium Development Goals. Our late Foreign Minister, Alfredo Hengari, played quite an active role in shaping that document. 24 years later, Namibia is once again at the center of global diplomacy. President Mbumba arrived in New York 2 days ago. Yesterday, he was receiving briefings from officials with regard to progress in terms of the path of the future, which President Mbumba will oversee its adoption. So it has been a very busy few days, I must mention. And the focus is indeed on Namibia as a country that believes in solidarity, a country that believes in justice, and importantly, multilateral solutions to the challenges facing humanity.
Talk to us, Doctor, about some of the key objectives that Namibia hopes to achieve during the summit, especially regarding the SDGs.
Namibia is a country that has done fairly well on some of SDGs, specifically in terms of advancing health, advancing development. Of course, there are challenges, and it is why Namibia is the country that is representing the global south in as far as the summit of the future is concerned. And President Mbumba will carry that message of the aspirations of the people of the global south. Today, President Mbumba will have a meeting with the Secretary-General of the United Nations, António Guterres, to strengthen our relations with the United Nations system, because you recall that our late President, Nangolo Mbumba, always said Namibia is a child of international solidarity midwife by the United Nations. President Mbumba will once again reaffirm Namibia's commitment to multilateral solutions to our shared challenges and our shared aspirations. Tomorrow, President Mbumba will meet with the President of the General Assembly, Philemon Young, and the very same message will be advanced by President Mbumba. It's going to be a very busy 5 days because Namibia will, in earnest, start its work of co-facilitating the Summit of the Future on Saturday with Global Action Days, where the President will deliver a statement speaking and rallying global civil society around the objectives of this Summit of the Future, and specifically the part of the future, which is looking at shaping new hope, new action for a better tomorrow for each and every citizen of the world. on Sunday, the summit will open in the morning. President Mbumba will deliver the opening remarks alongside the Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz. The President will participate in several interactive dialogues. So it's really a very busy week for the President. And I must also say that in addition to that, the work of the summit and the multilateral engagement, President Mbumba will also have bilateral talks with several heads of state, including the President of Angola, the President of Latvia, there's also been a request from the President of the country to meet with President Mbumba. So it's a very packed UNGA week, I must say. And Namibia as a country will be at the center of a number of these activities.
You mentioned earlier, Dr. Hengari, of course, the meeting happening between President Mbumba and Secretary-General of the United Nations, António Guterres. Can you just share what outcomes are expected from this meeting?
As you know, the Secretary-General has been pushing for a renewed agenda for the United Nations. President Mbumba will, as I mentioned earlier, will co-facilitate the Summit of the Future, which will lead to the adoption of the Pact of the Future, which is a UN document. And President Mbumba will emphasize the message of a United Nations that is fit for purpose, a United Nations that speaks and that acts for the aspirations of the marginalized, United Nations that fights and deploys its tools to fight global inequality and also to fight for more inclusion. The question of the reform of the United Nations Council is high on the agenda of Namibia. The question of climate change and the reform of the global financial architecture so that it can best represent the aspirations of the people of the global south. These are issues that will be part of the meeting with the Secretary-General Guterres.
Dr. Hengari, it's always a pleasure having you with us. Thank you so much for taking our time to speak to us tonight.
It's indeed a pleasure. Thank you.
That was Press Secretary Dr. Alfredo Hengari speaking to us from New York. We've got one more chat before we say goodbye this evening. Stay with us.